So, very good evening to each one of you. So, thank you very much for joining this session. So, we'll start the session at 7:05. We'll wait for others to join also. Yeah, okay. Thank you. So, we'll begin the session now.
Good evening, sir.
So, good evening. Good evening to.
Good
Thank
evening,
you very
sir.
much for joining each one of you. So wonderful to I think to meet each one of you. So,
Good evening.
good evening. Good evening. Good evening. Ji. So, let us begin the session. So, as you know, module 1 will carry on, and last we have covered up to chapter 13, right? So, we'll take up chapter 14, and that is FCPA. Some US laws will study because it's an international subject and it has international ramifications. So, some aspect will study the about the US concept also. Okay. So let me just open it and then we'll work on that. Okay, yeah, just 1 second. Yes, so I just share my slide. Just let me know my slide is visible to you. FCPA USA. Is it visible? Can anybody
Yes, sir.
confirm to me?
Visible, sir.
Okay,
Visible, sir.
thank you very much. Thank you very much. So this is a Foreign Corrupt Practices Act basically. This is we are going to study now. Of course, it's applicable USA, but has also ramification in India on certain companies, and we need to understand the implications, right? And also the practical aspect how this is now like we need to consider from the Indian perspective also. So it's a brief chapter, basically, not a very long chapter. And as usual, you can ask question whatever bothers you, right? In between in the chat box, you can always ask me, and or you can now like unmute and speak to me also. So let us again have a discussions and on this point. So this is will take up Foreign Corrupt Practices Act basically in the USA. It is a US law which is very strict basically, and it is applicable to the USA firms and individual, right? And it very clearly prohibits them to pay the bribes to foreign officials to for your business deals, right? So it contains the mainly anti-bribery provisions. Ki you should not very clearly what anti-bribery like provisions are there. It touches upon, and second, it touches upon books and record and internal controls which really and accounting practices to be adopted basically, right? So these two major aspect it touches. What is the entry bribery practices need to be taken care, and regarding the books records and other control factors it touches upon the two major area. So it basically applies, it is a one very thing, it applies a very widespread. FCPA applies conduct anywhere in the world and extend to both USA, public traded company and privately held company, anywhere. But of course, it's applicable to US publicly traded company, not Indian companies, right? But if the US publicly trading company is conducting any, like as employee conducting any activity of bribery in the India, it will be there. So, and there are many US public traded company are there, like Infosys also is listed in the New York Stock Exchange. So it will cover it will cover on the FCPA. Please understand. So any Indian company which are listed in the USA Stock Exchange because they are publicly traded company, they will be covered over there. So it has the ramification in India also. So it basically very clearly prohibits for paying the bribes to the foreign officials to further the deals basically. And essentially it is the like two major bodies which we read earlier also, Security Exchange Commission and the Department of Justice. They are the main enforcing agencies to apply this act basically. And and it's very clearly now like applicable to the entire American businesses, like even in the overseas also. So going further, my dear friend, like it's very clearly covers the like expediting the legal process or obtain the contracts. Even long time back it was applicable, and in some countries. So FCPA basically is a adoption of the like various treaties are there internationally. One of the OECD, you must be aware, Organization for Economic Cooperation and Development. It's a very powerful body where like which laid down various international standards for the businesses. It adopt the treat like provision from this OECD, right? And whatever this and to really be able to like fine tune its working. So what anti-bribery provisions is talking? Number one, let's come to that. It prohibits the foreign official and intends to deter corruption and abuse of power worldwide. It contains policies governing the actions of permitted company directors, officer, shareholder, agent, their employee. So it covers like the entire like this company, their director, officer, shareholder, agent, employees, and include the working through third party. It means you are working through consultant. If the company's consultant pays the money, that will also be covered under the anti-bribery provisions, right? Even the joint venture JVs also will cover, right? So it means you can't use these proxies basically to commit a fraud. So if some consultant also pay bribery on behalf of these companies, then also they will be covered under this FCPA. So it's very, very like quite widespread. Okay. Can the anybody unmute? Somebody voice is coming. So let me check who is the person. So please mute. I think whose, whose voice is this? Almost all have muted, but some
I think Mr. Madhavan.
Mr. Madhavan. Mhm. The person unmute. Who is this person? I am not able to find in the. Yeah, Mr. Madhvia. Maybe I think he is unmuted. Basic is yeah, yeah. I hope he listens to us. I think so. Please keep. Yeah, yeah. I think he has done. Thank you very much. I think Mr. Madhvia. So please keep muted. I think because it really disturbs the others also. So my request. Still the voice is coming. So maybe I'll request. Is there somebody from the institute? Is there? They have admin. They can remove that person. Somebody from the institute is there. Somebody. I'm not seeing the list from the because they have admin right. Anyway, voice stopped now. So please, okay, okay, we'll carry on. Thank you. So now I was what talking to you, how it cover the director, officer, agent, shareholders, and so you can see that even agents also are covered, like very widespread. Even consultant also are covered, right? These people are covered. Even third party, even joint ventures also covered if they pay on behalf of under FCPA. So very very like widespread range is there now, like about these anti-bribery provisions. Going further about the book's record, what it says, this section act outline the accounting transparency guideline that are meant to operate in tandem with anti-bribery provision. It requires company whose security are listed in the USA to meet accounting provision, which like cite ways of recording asset that make it difficult to mask corrupt payments. So of course we are not going to detail, but it basically this FCPA also requires the listed company to to maintain the like very clearly set the accounting practices as per their provisions, which make difficult to like hide the corrupt payment, right? So it's so their practices are very very stringent, very transparent. So when in so by that also they cannot like they're difficult to hide the corrupt payment. Like in our country, it is still very easy to hide the corruption. You can show the payment in number of ways, but this is not so possible in the US basically. Right? Their law is very very stringent, and this FCPA also like controls these things, right? So that is, I think, the very important aspect. Further, like if you violate the FCPA, the punishment is very strict. So, like as I told you, SEC and the this DOJ, they enforce it, and the penalties are quite substantial in this case, and the punishment is twice the amount of benefit. So, punishment is twice the amount of benefit expected to be received from the bribery. So, that is the punishment. Number one, fine. Twice the amount of benefit expected to receive from a bribery. Number one. And the corporate entities guilty of breaching the act may be forced to accept an oversight independent to ensure future compliance. So what is that in this case? If any company involved, they can the government can appoint a oversight for as an oversight an independent auditor separately for the overseeing the functioning and the auditing, right? And then individual, in the case of individual, there's a imprisonment of 5 years. So three ways the punish are there act is functioning. One is punishment from the monetary point of view, right? It is the twice the expected benefit, number one. Then second, the corporate entities will be forced for an oversight of an independent auditor, right? And third, individuals maybe face imprisonment up to 5 years. So three ways the penalties are levied under the FCPA basically. Going further, my dear friend, like of course there are some example given over here, like how the SEC, like they make some rulings in USA. Some cases are given, like in case of Ericsson. Like in that case, this Ericsson, the Stockholm-based company, they is a very big telecommunication company. They agreed to pay more than 1 billion to the SEC and the DOJ to resolve charges that were the FCPA by engaging the large-scale bribery scheme involving the use of sham consultant to secretly funnel money to the government official in the multiple countries. So that is a very, very glaring thing. You can see how they were forced to pay 1 billion like USD and by this SEC and DOJ when they tried to pay the money to the government official in the multiple country. Like so, payment was made in some other country, but since Ericsson is listed in the Nasdaq, so the New York Stock Exchange listed over there, so the US provisions are applicable. Right? That you must understand. So in Microsoft, like again of course the US based company like is there. So there like it faced the 24 million USD cup is there the charges which levied on them. So they were a violation in the Hungary, Thailand, Saudi Arabia, Turkey, and the criminal charge led to the and criminal charges led to the Hungary in the. Similarly, like this Goldman Sachs, another is a US based company. Again, in they are the New York Stock Exchange. They are listed over there. So they also agreed to pay the penalty for violating the like under the FCPA. So there are some example are given over there where we can understand. So this is briefly about this what we try and understand that how this in this case like this activity was taken care, right? So I think so this is what is very very important we must remember, right? So I think so this was all about briefly about the FCPA, right? Then let us go to the next very important chapter 15 rather, PMLA. You must be listening a lot about that, Prevention of Money Laundering Act 2002. So it is also like works directly indirectly on curbing the fraud malpractices in a number of ways. So let's understand how this PMLA is functioning and what is the role of that. Okay. So let's go to this act now. This chapter 15 starting. PMLA, I think, Prevention of Money Laundering Act. Basically, it is to really fight against the criminal activity of either terrorist funding or legalizing your illegal source of income. So two things are there. you legalize your illegal source of income, or you use this for a terrorist funding, right? So major two targets are there basically, like illegal source, you legalize them, and you use it for the terrorist funding, criminal offense. Two major areas are there. So basically, it enables government essentially to confiscate the property earned from the illegal. You must be listening many times, like ED, like in our country, like Enforcement Directorate is the main enforcing agency working on by the government of India to really be like enforcing the PMLA. I think you must be listening a lot of things nowadays about that the PMLA, right? So to confiscate the property earned from the illegal gains. So it has a direct power. If once it is established the source is illegal, they can confiscate the property, seize the property, right? So this is what is there. So basically nowadays, if you see, a lot of internationally also things are happening illegally, like illegal arms, drug trafficking, multiple things are happening. So the PMLA plays a very important role. So what are the objective of the PMLA? Very clearly, prevent money laundering. When we say money laundering, it means you launder the money from illegal source to legalize the income or the profit. You launder the money like from the illegal source. That's called money laundering. Combat, prevent channeling of money into illegal activity or economic crimes. So whatever legal money you have or illegal money, whatever you have, you finance in the illegal activity. Like I gave example, terrorist funding, major area. So it covers that also, or the any kind of a economic crimes. Provide for confiscation of property derived from or involved or used in the money laundering. So it also provide that, as I told you, you can confiscate the property which, if it's proven, it derived from the illegal money or used in the money laundering, or any other matter connected incident to the money laundering, or like you can say the money related to the siphoning of funds basically, right? So that I think is the various acts are there. So how this money laundering takes place, right? So it has a three stages basically. So one is the first, the money derived from the crime is introduced into the formal financial system called placement, right? So if you can see that, like some illegal source of money, you buy some property, you can say, if it's a system, you buy some property, but the source is unexplained or illegal. That is called placement basically. You are placing the money into the formal system. Second stage, money so introduced in the system is layered and spread over various transactions with a view to clear the tainted origin of the money is called layering. So how layering happens in this case? You introduce the money like in a layered way, like not in a one bunch, you can say. You may like bring in certain tranche of money so that it doesn't look bulky, so that it called layering basically. Or layering also mean you introduce the money not directly, but through the various channels, like if you have to bring the money to A company, so you will put to the maybe the D. From D it will go to the E. E will go to the like C, and C will come to the from C will go to the A. It's called layering basically. You layer the source. So ultimately go to the A, and A company acquire the property. But the money comes to A by various, not directly by various means. It's called layering basically. Mostly is done in the corporate in our country. It's called layering. They're the layering the money. Third, money enter from a system in which, in such a way that the original association with the crime is sought to be cleared, so that the money can be used by the offender or person receiving it as a clean money, and is called integration. So third stage, the property which you acquired is completely delinked from the, is like you can say the illegal source, showed completely as a genuine property, and it become part of your main, like the clean money, you can say it that way. So that is the third stage. So it's called placement, layering, and integration. So it's integrate with the normal process. I hope it is very clear this, because this is very important. You should understand the how this modus operandi now functions basically, right? So I think our friend also talks about that. Recently in the Delhi, there is a popular case filed on a liquor scam, and few big politicians also got notice. Yes, yes, you are right. You're right, Naveen Kumar. Many cases are happening. Delhi, of course, one we know very this famous case, liquor scam. But almost every day, if you see, there is one or two properties are confiscated by the enforcement directorate every day. There's not a single day where they do not confiscate a property, right? So it's a very normal thing. So that is a very powerful body that we must understand these cases. Yeah, you are right. So these are three operations you must understand: placement, layering, and integration. Going further, now what are the various ways the money hawala? You can hawala, I think you must be knowing. You transfer the money not from the banking channel, but from the illegal channel. That's called hawala basically. Bulk cash smuggling. In a bulk, you smuggle the cash. Fictional loan, you give a not a genuine loan but a fictional loan. Cash intensive business, right? So where the business is very very highly cash intensive, so there the black money can enter very easily. Round tripping, right? Round tripping, you rotate the money from one company to the other company, round tripping, right? So that's how the layering comes out. So round tripping again, mostly you have a X company from X to Y, Y to Z, Z to B, B to A, and this how it happens. It's called round tripping. The money comes back to the company, but from the various other sources. So money, your own money, but this how this round tripping happen. So mostly like in forensic audit, when we do it, I must have shared in the past. These are one major area where we check whether round tripping is happening or not. So that is the very one very area like how we used to take care. And we need to really understand, like recently in the last week itself, this week itself, not last week, sorry, this week itself on Wednesday, I think not very. So I was in Chandigarh to meet their CBI officials over there, because there was one forensic case we did it in that Chandigarh area. And then they called the bankers, myself also, to discuss the report which was submitted, I think 3 4 months back. So they like all this term round tripping. I had to explain to them because they are not financial expert. What is round tripping? What is money laundering? Right? So they were asking these things. So how it happens? So because this term we used in the report very regularly. So this like we have to, because they have to file a case to the in the FIR to be lodged, and the court they have to fight a case with the advocate. So the terms and their explanation they need to understand very thoroughly, right? So like this round tripping, we're discussing in a very great detail. I explained to them how it happens and how in that case this round tripping was done. So this is a then like trade based laundering. Like one is the money based. Trade based laundering is you do the trading of illegal goods. You like illegally launder the goods. What is the money laundering? You layer the money. Trade laundering, basically you launder the goods illegally from one place to other. Shell company, mostly I think mostly you are aware of that. The companies open the shell company. They are used for round tripping basically, right? So explain these terms because they are pretty interesting terms. And yeah, yes, Bitcoin, I think Naveen Ji saying, yeah. So you're right, absolutely. So I'm explaining this. Shell company, I think, are those companies which are used for the round tripping. They don't do any business. They are the only companies where the money comes and money goes out. Shell companies, right? So they are used as a like conduit to receive the money and transfer the money to the somewhere else. So they are called shell company. We are not the real business. Similarly, trust, real estate, all are used, or gambling, fake invoicing. So these are common ways where illegal money, right? Money laundering basically you must understand the is a where we use the illegal source to legalize it basically, right? Illegal money we use this technique to legalize it. That's called money laundering basically. Going further, like we also have the process of crime means include any property obtained or derived directly indirectly as a result of criminal activity. So like any property you acquire, now like basically now from the now like from the criminal as a result of criminal activity, like you earn some money from gambling and then acquire a property is a process of crime basically. So what are the offenses are there basically under PMLA, right? So PMLA has basically three part where offenses are divided in the PMLA, right? If you go one by one. So under PMLA, like Part A talks about offenses under various Indian acts like IPC, Indian Penal Code, NDPS, you must be Narcotic Drugs and Psychotropic Substances Act, right? PCA, Prevention of Corruption Act, Anti-Cuties Act, and Art Treasures Act, basically, which talks when you steal some like good art, goods of art, basically. Copyright, stealing the copyright, trademark, Wildlife Protection Act, Information Technology Act. So various acts are there where like these act, many of you must be knowing, where like they talks about corruption or use of the like now you can say the illegal money over there, like you steal a copyright, you steal a piece of art, you like basically smuggle the wildlife like their skin, or IT Act. So they all talk about some like illegal activities. So the like PMLA covers these things also, like whatever frauds or illegal activity committed under these acts. So they are also covered under the PMLA. So the PMLA basically extends to these acts also. Then we have the Part B, which beside Part A specifies that the offences which affect more than 1 crore or more, basically, right? So accordingly the penalties are specified, we'll see just now. And Part C talks about trans-border crimes, like where the crimes is committed from one country to other, basically, right? Trans-border crime, basically, right? So it talks about those things also, trans-border crimes. So that is how it functions, basically, right? So this is so three basically are the part and the penalties are prescribed in the PMLA. Okay, going further. So now this comes the Enforcement Directorate, where you must be listening. So this is the major body, Enforcement Directorate, in the Ministry of Finance under the Department of Revenue, basically, right? This is the main body. Normally they have officers from the Income Tax Department, some and other CBI, other officers also from the various agencies. The officers are hired, and this Enforcement Directorate is basically responsible for the implementing the PML in our country, right? So it works under the Ministry of Finance directly. So they are the investigating offices for doing the money laundering. Also, under the Ministry of Finance, we have another very important unit called FIU, Financial Intelligence Unit India. This again comes the Department Revenue में. So along with the Enforcement Directorate, so where like it also now like deals with the reporting directly to the Economic Indian Council headed by the FIU, is a central national agency for receiving and processing, analyzing, disseminating the information relating to suspect financial activity. So Enforcement Directorate job is to implement, is to take action of the illegal activities. FIU, again in the Department of Revenue, his role is to collect, process, analyze, disseminate information of a suspect financial transaction, like illegal transaction, like banks also report over there where it happens. Somebody again starts speaking. Can you mute, my dear friend? Who is this gentleman? Who is this? Please keep your muting. I think this time I'm not sure who is this gentleman. Is it Ashwini Kumar Das or again Madhvyaji? Madhvyaji has muted. Ashwini Kumar Das, I think, is still showing unmuted. Madhvyaji, please mute. I think again you are. Yeah. Okay. Thank you, sir. So please take care of that. Thank you for your cooperation. Hmm. No solution for Madhvyaji ka.
Sir, I have a small doubt, sir.
Yes.
Actually, if the transaction related to like money laundering case, if that is related to different countries sir,
Yes.
involved, so the accused in different country, say for example,
Your voice is broken.
how the
Voice
treatment can
broken,
be.
sir. No. Your voice got broken. Can you speak? Foreign country. What up? What after that? Can you just speak, sir? I just lost your
Yes,
voice is
sir.
breaking.
Yes, sir. Now,
Please.
sir.
Yeah, it's better, but it's breaking in between. Yeah, come again.
Okay, sir. Maybe I can message sir. Then it will be fine.
Okay. Let's see that. You can just type it out. Yeah. Okay. Anyway, I'll continue. I'll repeat then once that comes. Yeah. So I was talking about that the FIU and the Enforcement Directorate. They're all under the Ministry of Finance, but Enforcement Directorate is a implementing body. FIU is a which collect the process, analyze the various information in the corrupt financial transaction. Like banks, I think you must be aware. Regular in our country used to send two reports, CTR, STR. CTR, cash transaction report, and the STR, suspicion transaction report. Normally, banks send on a monthly basis to these FIU, right? And so it's a very powerful body in the Ministry of Finance. They takes care of that. Yeah, Ashwini Kumar, lot of which I can understand. Yes, there is a cyclone is there. I hope our Chennai friends are safe. Please take care of that. I think. Yeah, because it's a huge bad weather. But please take care of yourself and your everybody in the family over there. So, but you can just SMS me. You can just send a chat me your message if you are from the Chennai. I'll yeah, okay. So, what is FIU does? Coordinating, strengthening the efforts of the French national and intelligence, international intelligence, investigation for pursuing the global effort against money laundering and the related crime, basically. So, the two major bodies are there: Enforcement Directorate and FIU, which are basically directly to the money laundering. So, FIU job is to mainly collate, spread information, disseminate. As I told you, banks also report to FIU on a monthly report they send in our country, each bank. So it's a very important unit basically in the Ministry of Finance, and same with the Enforcement Directorate. Going further, so beside it, what action it takes basically, as I told you, coordinating. Then further, the it also takes seizure, freezing of property, record attachment of property obtained with the pursuit of crime. As I told you, so this also is the task of the Enforcement Directorate. I think Naveen Kumarji has written a message. Let me just see what he is saying. He said if there is a transaction to the money laundering which involve financial fraud and accused in the different country, how the people can be arrested or take them in custody to investigate. make a punishment against those people in India? Is there any associate agencies been working to bring those people? See, one is I think if the crimes of international ramification, I think so. Like you can see in our country, there's a very clear example is there. Like Mr. Nirav Modi, he committed fraud in India in the Punjab National Bank. Now he has migrated to the basically UK, right? But this how like but then the effort to be done at an intergovernment level, right? So government agency can be the point. So here if you see in this case the enforcement director also issued the notice, CBI also issued the notice to the Nirav Modi, and then based on that, like CBI, then they moved to the with the help of Ministry of External Affairs, they moved the case to the now like in the UK court and fought the case over there from the Indian side, and ultimately he has been convicted and will maybe brought soon back to India basically. So in that case, the MEA, Minister of External Affairs in our country, is the main body which like takes up the case along with the help of a CBI, right? So and then because they are the like now CBI is the main investigating agency which investigate the fraud, and then these agency function together, and this the criminals who commit a fraud in the yeah commit in India went to foreign countries, they can always be now like, but they cannot be like those people cannot be you can say the file suit in the foreign country, they can be brought back and the FIR can be lodged in our country, then they can be prosecuted and ultimately given punishment. So in the foreign country we can only request them, they have committed fraud, please bring them back. But there need to be a proper now like repatriation treaty between two countries. If you do not have a treaty, like mostly government have a treaty, then you can't bring them back. So it's very important to have very clearly like mutual these treaties should be there. Then only they can repatriate. Otherwise, you can't repatriate the other person even through the court also, right? So that is how like I understand this the issue functions now in such cases when the crimes of international ramification. So you have to really bring them to the over here. Then only is possible. Otherwise, not possible, right? So I hope it is clear, Naveen Kumarji, to you the issue which you asked. Okay, I think Nirav Modi case is very well. We can take a very clear example how government now is almost it seems on the verge of now like bringing back from the UK, and once he come back, then the ED, CBI, income tax department, they all will come into picture to file a FIR, like, and then they will be starting ahead now to prosecute him under the various act like so this how they will go, like CBI will function to under the Indian Penal Code, ED will function under the PMLA. So the various agencies, their various act under various act, they will take action, and ultimately he will be convicted as per the Indian law. Okay, so let's go further. I think so. I hope it is clear now. So any question you keep asking me between. So I was telling what action can be taken, seizure of property. Then any person who is commit offense under money laundering will be punishable for a minimum 3 years and maximum 7 years. And fine is without any limit. So this very stringent act is there in our country, where this imprisonment of 3 to 7 years is there, and a fine without any limit. So it's a very stringent act is there, right? So where like this occurs. So one case study we can take up. I think some is very interesting case study. We can just go through that how this case study function. So this is a case study given in your book also, which I just picked up. Like in this case, what happened? If you can just go through, there was a company XYZ Limited Company, is a real estate company and involved in construction business. So it wanted to build a land bank, like acquire properties in the various parts of India, essentially, and for the commercial development, because they anticipate a huge profit by shooting up in the prices, right? Land prices. So they hired this XYZ company, hired the one Mr. Mahesh as a like to for this acquisition process as a right. So they assured like very through a detailed letter that issued a detailed letter offer to Mahesh for a purchase of around 100 acres of land at a maximum price of 10 lakhs per acre in the different parts of India within a period of not exceeding 5 years. This was the offer given to him. And Mahesh has accepted that offer. And then like he entered into the legally binding contract. Now look at the how this PMLA comes. So what happened? Mr. Mahesh received the money from XYZ limit of around 1,000 crore as a loan he advanced for the purchase. Since he was to do it, money came to him basically as per the contract specified. Then Mr. Mahesh purchased various property, movable property with the fund received from the XYZ. He purchased the properties. No issues. Going further, what he did. Since all the fund could not be directly invested in the land as required by the contract, investment were made by the Mahesh himself or through his company for purchase of movable property, including land, built up residential and commercial property. So this is what he does it. So he basically now like he made an investment by either by himself or through his company and in the various fixed deposit buildings etc, right. This is how he does it. And investment are fixed by the name of Mr. Mahesh. Then PQR Limited, a company was there, Mr. Mahesh was holding 95%. So here issue come. The money was advanced to the Mahesh, but and he was supposed to invest in the various properties. But since there was surplus money, he went on to purchase the buildings like now by himself or through this company PQR or invest money in the PQR also, right? So this how he does it now. So that is where based on that the Enforcement Directorate initiated the proceeding under the Prevention of Money Laundering Act and registered a complaint under section 3 and 4 against the and attached the property of Mr. Mahesh because the Mahesh he cannot buy the property in his own name, like so it is a illegal source. That's where because he as per the contract he can buy the property in the name of the company XYZ, like who which was the main company who gave the money, but he cannot buy for himself or in the PQR Limited through that it's not allowed. So there comes the PM because the source become illegal. You must understand the source become illegal because that money does not belong to him. So the source is illegal. Moment the source is illegal, the so you must understand the like how it functions. The it become immediately. So property was attached. So we have to understand attachment was right or not. Number one. Then the attachment as per the PMLA. Then the punishment, how much punishment you will have, and what are the appellate appeal provisions are there with respect to PMLA. So this was the situation basically. So we'll understand the PMLA through that also, like some interesting issue we'll see one by one, how the PMLA functions through that. So one is of course like section 5 talks about the attachment of property. So what it says, where a director or any other officer not the rank of a deputy director, so only director and the deputy director, they are authorized to seize a property. So if they have a reason to believe like that the person on the base of whatever metal they have in possession, they are the very clearly the any person in possession of any proceeds of crime. So proceed of crime concealed, transferred, or dealt with any manner which may result in frustrating the proceeding relating to the confiscation of proceeds of crime, he may order in writing attach the property provisionally for a period not exceeding 180 days. Dhyan, please remember, it's not for a like permanently. So maximum for the 180 days they can seize a property. But reason is that if they feel if they do not seize, it will frustrate the proceedings, like confusion of the proceeds of crime. In that case, they can like confiscate the, seize the property, attach the property rather, which is there from the illegal crime. So that is the way. So of course, like you must understand the order whenever is made, the report has to go to local magistrate. So ED has to report to magistrate this act they have done in that area, basically what local magistrate in that area, so that very clearly he is in also in the loop. Then also you must understand furthermore, like any property of any person may be attached if the director, again not with the rank of deputy director, he feel that has a reason to believe that on the basis of material possession, if such property involved in money laundering is not attached immediately, non-attachment of property is likely to be frustrated proceeding. So one is the proceed of crime, if you talk before that. So any property where proceed of crime is involved, that is the provision. And here, any property which is involved in money laundering, basically, right? Money laundering. So two things. So mostly like in our country, it is the money laundering where the properties are being seized. Like that is what ED is functioning. Every day mostly you'll find some or other property. So money laundering where the source is illegal. Like essentially, like I think in your case, if you must be remembering the case of a Bombay Patra Chal case where Sanjay Raut, the famous politician, was arrested. So in that case, what happened? He, like through his relative, received the money, like the relative received the money as an advance for this patra, this from the builders, and he transferred the money, like this relative, to the Sanjay Raut account. So for Sanjay Raut is an illegal source, right? For the other person, he may got from the builder, but from the Sanjay Raut, why he got? Because he has no, as per that, there's no dealing with that financial dealing. So for him, it become illegal. So ED can attach his property. ED and his property has been attached. ED can arrest him also. So this is how you can see that the source be illegal. In that case, it can happen. Of course, like you got to be later on as per the law, basically. So that is the part of the judicial process. So is there in this case. But this how we must understand the source is illegal. So for Sanjay Raut, whatever I think 100 crore or whatever he has been received, there was no genuine reason why this money was there, and that is where the problem comes. Right, the source become illegal. So in that case, so similarly, like in the money laundering, also you can have a 180 days attached the properties, and accordingly, like it can be taken care. Okay. So going further, if same case, if you see this, how this money laundering act is there. So I think similarly, like this, whatever order they pass, they told you they give the order to the executing officer or to the magistrate very clearly, and the very then if the seizure they can extend for certain time, right? The seizure can be extend after the expiry of the period, but not for a like indefinite period. So that is where, but also it talks about property which is seized. Nothing in the law can stop the property after seizure being used for the purpose for the enjoying the property. So you can reside in the property, you can use the property, there's no problem. Even if property is attached, but you cannot sell the property, you cannot part with the property, right? So but there is no embargo in using the property which is seized by the enforcement director. So that also you must understand very clearly. So that is, and even the property main person or relative, anybody, they can all enjoy the property, right? So this how this act functions. So going further, I think, like as I told you in this case, like also this further, like if you go in these cases, as I told you, the property can be attached for 1 days, and then accordingly, now like they will file a complaint with the adjudicating authority. So about this money laundering, basically it provides also provide anybody. That's very important act. If it's section 3, very important, like it's very important is there. If you see anybody who provides whatsoever directly, indirectly attempt to indulge or knowingly assist or knowingly is a party or is actually involved. So sometimes the money laundering is very stringent. You may not, you are knowingly expediting, helping that person, right? Any process or activity connected to the pursuit of crime, including concealment, possession, acquisition, use, or projecting or claiming the property, you can also will be guilty of money laundering in this case. So that again, so like you can say, suppose a consultant advise a businessman to the money laundering, to transfer the money that way. So consultant will also be equally liable under the PMLA. You must, that is very important thing. So it's not the, so here the law is very, very now like strict basically, right? So it extend to that way case also. So this is where like this can happen, right? So this also we should understand. Further, I think that as I told you, the punishment is 3 to 7 years basically. Right? This is a punishment is there under the PMLA, which extendable in these cases, right? And equally fine will also be levied on this person. And then finally, the of course the anybody who is agreed by the order of the PMLA, like director or deputy director, he can be like go to the appellate tribunal basically. There's a appellate tribunal is there under the PMLA court basically, and within a 45 days of receipt of order, they can file an appeal to the tribunal, right? So, and the tribunal can also entertain appeal if it is even filed later by beyond 45 days, but they must be have the genuine reason. And similarly, if a tribunal pass the order and if the order is not acceptable to the agreed person, they can file a appeal to the high court also within 60 days from the date of communication, right? So tribunal you can go to within 45 days. In the high court you can go. This is the way you can go. Up to high court you can go basically as in the PMLA, not the Supreme Court basically. In that case, support for bail you can go, but you can file a case within 60 days to high court and to get a relief now from this court. So this is what was all about the PMLA, Prevention of Money Laundering Act, right? So this where we complete the chapter 15 basically. So 14, 15, chapter 2 have completed. So yes, before we take a break, I think if any question you have about these two topic which we covered, so we can discuss that. Any question on the PMLA or the FCPA, two like topic we have covered basically. If you have any question or some discussion, so please feel free basically. We can discuss that. Any clarity, any like you have some cross question, so you can unmute and talk to me, or you can just yes, sir. Yes, please, please,
Sir,
Geeta, I think
may
raising.
I? Sir,
Yes, yes, please, please, ma'am, kindly.
this regarding this NGOs and all, they get funds from other places, right? Huge funds they get, and they use these funds for some purposes or anything. So whatever funds comes to them, it will it be covered under money laundering, sir?
Yeah. See, the money laundering, ma'am, is a very, very widespread. So, like this NGO, mostly, if you see, NGO, there are two kind of NGOs are there in our country. One is NGO, they are formed and receive money domestically, like within country. Second, NGOs are there in our country which receive from the foreign sources. So, from the foreign sources, if you see, if you remember, they are registered under foreign like contribution, foreign currency contribution act, which is monitored by the Ministry of Home. So they have to get registered in the Ministry of Home, get a, and you must be knowing that recently many licenses has been cancelled of these NGOs. So they are registered over there, and any foreign money donation come, they are tracked. Local is like money they receive. This again been tracked. They have to file a return to the tax department. They have to get audited under section 12A. Exemption they have to avail under section 12 of the income tax. Many provisions are there. Local NGOs work in that way. Now, in both the cases, whether you receive the money locally or internationally. Very clearly, if I'm saying if the source is unexplained, or if it is explained the source is from the proceed of crime, in both the cases ED can come into picture. So that is where the ED comes. So ED can file a case, immediately register a FIR, and do inquiry, and then immediately start. Because the role of a prevention of money laundering means you launder the money illegally. It has to prevent that. If the money is being laundered legally, no problem, right? So, but when you launder the money, launder means move. When you move the money like illegally, then the problem comes. In that case, you fall under the PMLA Act of there, and then you can be prosecuted. So even both the, like whether a foreign fund or local, both come. So that is why it extends very vastly. Only one thing, the it should be the source should be illegal. Once the source is illegal, yeah, unexplained. Like I give an example of this Patra Chal cases. Mr. Sanjay Raut received the money, rather certain money in his wife's account. So the source was not explained, because it was given to by their friend who dealt with the builder, who took 1,000 crores advance from the builder. So that person who took advance from the builder, he was not under scanning of ED, because the money was from the builders. But when he gave money to the Sanjay Raut's wife, there was no source explained. Why? What any business transaction? What the reason? Nothing. It became a case of a money laundering, and that's where how Mr. Sanjay Raut was also caught. So this way, it extends this PMLA, right? So in both case, domestic and the NGOs, and like receiving the foreign fund, both they can be arrested, right? So I hope it's clear. Yes.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Yes. Anybody else? Any question on the interpretation on anything? So please
Sir,
feel free to ask us. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir, my dear friend. Please.
uh, sir, regarding the case study that we discussed just now,
Yeah. Yes, sir.
here how it comes within the money laundering, since the amount is more than the contracted amount. He received 1,000 crore, Mr. Mahesh,
Yes.
but the
Yes.
contract was for 10 crore.
Mm-hmm. Contract was for 10 crore, you are saying.
10 10 lakh per acre. He was supposed to purchase 100 acre.
100 acre you are supposed to purchase, right? Okay.
And per acre
Yes.
price was 10 lakh.
10 lakhs. So 100 acre. How much it comes?
10 crore.
10 crore basically. Is it that?
Yes,
Okay.
sir. And
Okay.
he received 1,000 crore. That means in excess he received 990 crore.
990 crore he received. Yes. Yes. You're right. Yes.
So the balance 990 crore is not explained by the contract.
Okay. Okay. Okay.
Is is,
Yes.
is it for that reason he was
No,
against?
no, 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 no. See, he used that money. See that even the contract talks about 10 crore, and the money was given by the company 1,000 crore. Since the
Sir,
money, yes, anybody who's there?
no, sir.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm
So, yeah, yeah. So the money came from the company, right?
yes,
The contract talks about certain amount of money. Even if they're coming more than that, there's no
yes,
problem in there, because money he's dealing with the company as a financial transaction. So he can
right,
receive
sir.
more than also, as long as it's explainable. The
Okay,
problem
sir.
is that he used that company money in buying the properties in his own name and in a company which is owned by him.
That means
There it becomes, he
he was
used the
supposed
money.
to act. He was supposed to act in the capacity of agent, but he has
Yes,
not done.
yeah. So,
So
so
that
whatever,
contractual relation cannot
what,
explain that
yes,
receipt of money.
whatever property he acquired, problem come. For that, the source is illegal.
Oh,
Problem is that for the source is illegal, right? Because the money doesn't belong to him.
Right,
Money
sir.
belongs to the as a agent to the company. It can be 20,000 crore, no problem. But as long as he's buying the property in the name of the XYZ Limited, there is no problem. ED cannot raise any question. The
Okay,
problem
sir.
come when he start buying the property, there was surplus money in his own name or in a name of a company where he has a 90% shareholding. The problem come over there because
Okay, sir.
that become illegal. So you have to be very strict in interpretation. Illegal for that is a illegal because money doesn't belong to him, and then immediately ED can arrest him. ED can take action, confiscate the property because basically, as I told you, start from a two thing: proceed of a crime or illegal source. Here, source of
Right.
Mahesh
Became
for his
illegal. Was illegal.
property become illegal, not the property which he buy in the name of a company XYZ. No, in his own
Okay,
the
okay,
problem
sir.
come. Then he was captured. Okay.
Okay, sir. Okay, okay. Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Yeah.
Sir, here
So
the company
accused
also
is
is
there like
accused.
here. Yeah, yeah. So please understand. Yes, you are right very clearly. In a company, who is accused? In a company, if you look in a company, it is the director who are accused. So it's a director who are accused in a company, like directors. So of course, companies that provide for a punishment to the company as a whole and to the directors also. But in this case, the ED will act against the Mahesh as an individual, and ED will also act against the Mahesh as a director of a company, or if somebody else is a director, whosoever. So this how the both like persons will be like under the ED net, Mahesh and the director of that company, because in that case, right? And company, so ED goes against the in that way how ED, but company law also talks about punishment to the individual and to the company also. So so in that company law will can also straightway take a proceeding like this SFIO, Serious Fraud Investigation Office, and in that case both can be punished. But ED will actually function against the Mahesh and the director. Yes. Whatever the company who paid excess, so but see that company paid excess money, company has resources. So if I do a contract of buying of a like X property, but I was paid more money to buy more, I can always revise the contract. There's nothing, no crime. It's not that
Yes,
I'm
sir.
just bound to buy that only. If my they decide that I can buy more, they can revise the contract later on. But there's nothing. The only problem come if company cannot explain its source. If the company knows have a source explained of 1,000 crore, 20,000 crore, no problem. Then companies, but as long as source is plain, even if it doesn't fall within the contract, there is no problem. The
There is no
business
problem.
dealing is established in that case. Dealings are established. They are doing a business. For many business dealing, there may not be written contract. Many business dealings like are done without contract. It's not everything you have to be written. The verbal commitment can be there, so that can be. There is no problem in that case. So there is no like illegality as long as the money in the express company is legal. They pay to the Mahesh even more than the contract, no problem. But he should not go the term of buying beyond his like in the individual name. The problem comes over there. Okay.
Yes, sir.
So anybody else? Any other question? So it's good, I think, if you can keep asking the question, if anything. So it's always like we can interpret, we can understand the law more deeply. Okay. So I think we can now take a break of a 5 minute, I think. So and then we'll resume further, I think. We'll take a more theory today. We'll go to chapter 16 and 17, right? We'll cover those act also. So if time permit, we'll see that. Okay. Yeah. So we'll take a break. So it's 8, 9. So I think we can resume at 8:15. Yeah. Okay. Thank you very much. Thank you. Yeah. Okay. So we'll resume the session now. So let us carry on further. So we'll take up more theory now. So now, my dear friend, we'll go to some very interesting aspect. Now, I think the next is very interesting. I think somebody asked, I was seeing video, Ashwini Kumarji. Yeah, video, I don't know, Ashwini Kumarji. You have to check with your directorate over. They are the people because they do the recording, and whether they can give you the video, I think it is their prerogative. I don't have any information on that. So please check with your director, and they will be able to give you the right answer. Okay, yeah. So I think they are the best people on that. Okay, so just 1 minute. Let me now share the slide with you. So I'll just open the next one. So we are on the chapter 16. We'll take it up now. Okay. So yeah, so we'll take up the chapter 16. Very interesting chapter. So which we will be taking it up right now. Okay, just 1 minute. Yeah, so we'll take up that chapter 16. We'll just take it up. Just 1 minute. Yeah. So this is regarding the digital forensic, basically, right? We'll take a digital forensic, very interesting term which we need to understand over there about the digital forensic, basically, right? So let me just share my slide with you. Just 1 minute. Just give me 1 minute. Okay. Acha, what we will do, I think, we'll take up this digital forensic bit later on. Let me take up one case study, which I not sent, but you can read together with me this case study. Okay, with a very interesting case study, I'll take it up. Right. So yes, tell me, what do you prefer? Shall we go for case study or go for the digital forensic theory? What do you prefer? Tell me. With this, I've not
Case
circulated,
study,
but
sir.
case study, I know you enjoy that. So we'll take
Yes,
the
sir.
case study.
Yes, sir.
So just 1 minute. So yes, Diljit Kaur ji also saying case study. So we're all fond of that, I think. Yeah. So of course I have not shared this case study with the directorate, but we can read together. Don't worry. Inder ji also, everybody case study is saying good. I think. So I thought ki maybe Thomas theory little need to be changed. I thought let me take a case study. Okay. So the case study number 10. I'm just opening it up. So let us read together. We can read together. Just 1 minute. Yeah. Okay. So I'm now sharing this case study. After case study, please share with answer to our group. Okay, Raja Maneji. I'll share the case study answer. Both are studied. Don't. I'll share both of them in the group today. Yeah. Okay. Yes. So I open the case study. Just confirm is visible to you. The case of intelligent translator manipulation. Is it visible to you? Just anybody kindly confirm.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So please read now. I'm reading also with along with you. Please read that. Yeah. Please mute, I think, kindly. Please mute. Yeah. So there's some various revenue figures are there of artworks. Please mute. Who is there? Let me just see. Just a minute. I don't know who is our friend. Please, sir, please, just a minute. I think, let me see. Who is this person?
Sir, I will mute him. Just a minute.
Okay. Applying candidates. Who can do it? This, I think, please. Thank you so much. Thank you. So please take care of that. Thank you very much. Yeah. Okay. So just open the slide. Now please see that. So some revenue results are there. Just go through that. So mostly revenue is going up if you see in the various blocks in this company, which is in the art studio they have, production department they have. So the revenue is going up. So let's go down, I think. Okay. Now please read that. Please read this paragraph.
Sir, scroll down, sir.
So I hope you understood the point. The translation department revenue has got doubled if you see. If you see 4.76, now in the 99.9 point. Problem area is that while just explain to you, while all other department never exceed more than 40%, and translation in the last 10 year never exceed beyond 18%. This is a worrisome sign. But the issue is that when the auditor questioned the CFO, they said, what is the problem? Money they have received. So money has been received. So the money has been received. Why there is a problem? And also he said, there's no increase in billing also, like increasing the amount of charges. So the whatever charges they are paying, fine, and are being recovered. So what is there's no problem in that. So neither there's a charges have increased, only amount has gone up and money has been recovered. So where is the problem? So this was situation. Let's go further. Yes, these are two lines you can read. Then we'll go to the bottom.
Sir, scroll down, sir.
Sir, please scroll down.
Scroll down, sir.
So money was being received. There is no problem. Let's read further. Yeah, please.
Sir, scroll down, please.
Okay, 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 sir.
The next page, sir.
Okay, okay, thank you, ji. Okay, this is the last page. Then go to next page. Yeah, please complete that. I will further now. Yeah, please read that.
Scroll down, sir.
So I think by the end of that, yeah. So just finish that, then we'll discuss the last one. So this is the situation now. So let us discuss then. Okay. So please share your views. What is your take? How the fraud is being occurring? You can unmute and speak, or you can share in the group. What is the problem? Job has not gone up, but translation payout has gone up, right? So what is the like your problem in this case? Yes, anybody? So please apply your mind. You're all experts, I think. So please share what is your take, how the fraud is occurring. I hope you understood the case study now. Yes, you can share in the chat box. You can unmute and speak also. So I want please think it over and share your answer.
Sir, same files has been splitted into below 100 words in 1999 or more.
Mhm.
And because of the fixed amount of payout, the more files created for no, below 100 words and given for translation. So file remains same. Total file remains same, but pages has been splitted to below 100 words. So this is increased and payout has gone more.
Okay. So, okay, this is the one point shared by our friend. Yes, what else? Anybody else? Any thought process beside that? What our friend shared? You can share in the chat box. Good, I think one answer came. What about others? Please share your thoughts and how the fraud has occurred. So, one answer has been given. Yes.
Sir, it is mentioned small job assignments have increased and big job
Yes.
has decreased. So that
Yes,
means
ma'am.
entire job has been split into bigger jobs has been split into smaller jobs and the
Okay.
payout was increased.
Ah, okay. So the same issue, like
Yeah,
the splitting, I think. Good.
yeah,
So,
like what sir other person said. Yeah.
very right, I think, ma'am. So let us see the chat box. Binay Kanji, it appear big jobs are kind of small job. I think same. Then our friend Asgar Khanji has also shared. Let me just give me 1 minute. Yeah. He also shared during 90s and 98, cash payment would have received, which gave now like opportunity to account it as more than 100 words, I think. Okay, Asgar Khanji. Okay. So, yes. So, I think answers are coming in the same line. Anybody else? What? So, how the fraud is there? If any thought process somebody wanted to add or wanted to like, so you can just unmute and speak. I think it's very interesting thing how the fraud occurs in the industry in a number of ways. So, like this, also the translation case is there where I think very interesting thing you are able to see that. Okay. Hmm. Okay, then I'll share the answer with you. Okay. So let us share the answer. Let us read through and just give me a second. So I'll share the answer with you and let us understand how it has been there. Yes. Okay. Just one. Yeah, please mute it, my dear friend, whosoever is there. Just 1 minute, I'm just sharing the answer with you, but please mute in the meantime. Thank you very much for your cooperation. Yeah. sorry. Yeah. I just share the slide. Is it now visible to you? Please confirm.
Yes, yes.
Okay, so let's read.
Yeah,
Please
it
read
is
the.
visible.
Yeah, please read, sir. Please.
Scroll down, sir.
Okay. Just 1 minute. So this is how he's doing it now.
Please scroll down, sir.
Okay. Sorry. Yeah. Yes, please see that. It's quite long. Yeah. Scroll down. Okay.
Scroll down, sir, please.
Final. Yeah. So I think this is how the fraud occurred basically. So yes. So I think many of you shared. Yes, please share your final analysis. So why did he changes his approach in 19 when turned up for his this case? Yeah, this what was the issue. Yes, please share your views now. This how this fraud occurred basically. He basically to the translator he was paying the same amount, but otherwise to the company he was saying more amount is being like charged basically. That's what how he was committing this fraud essentially. Yeah. Cash transaction is the root cause. Yes, you are right, Binay Kanji. Cash transaction, the root cause is also one reason. Yes. What else? Anybody, your thought process, your feedback on this issue? Control, of course, we discussed the weak controls were there, but yes, since you're all financial expert, what is your take? You can share with me right now. So this is how this fraud has occurred. Yes. Yes, my dear friend. Anybody else? Any question or anything? But you can understand how fraud occur basically. Very interestingly, the frauds they committed by the people and how like very smartly they misuse the system, right? This what happens essentially in the like industry where the systems of course cash is the one major reason, right? But otherwise this also is the major aspect which we should understand. Yes.
Sir,
Anybody? Yes, ma'am.
sir, may I?
Yes, yes, please.
Sir, the signatures would have been got from the translator for 2,500 rupees, right, sir? Because they are
Hmm.
submitting it to the accounts department or the concerned department for the signature, because the department releases 2,500, and
Hmm.
the signature should be got from the person who is receiving it. So if
Hmm.
the receiving the voucher, whatever they are going to sign, should be for 2,500, right, sir?
Yeah. So this was the
Then
reason he was forging this everything because the he was a conduit between the translator and the account department. So the he was paying the translator, receiving the money from the account department, and that way he was doing it very smartly. All these things. So
and
yes, ma'am. Please
And
continue.
how did the translator have the receipt, sir, when the auditor was counter verifying with the translator for the receipts? How did they have the copy of 500 rupees, means whatever is the amount which they are due? How will they have the receipt if the copy was given to them?
No, translators basically, if you see the translators were paid in a very they were not aware of this breakup, right? So
Hmm.
they were paid basically of a 100 words whatever were there, but he broke this 100 word into various jobs, right? And
Hmm.
each job he charged the money from the account department higher. But translator were very honest. They did the job of 100 words. Now 100 words they know is a one job. Up to that charges they no value, so they paid. So but to the account he showed there are 5 jobs are there, but actually there's one job. This is how he did. So from the account he charged more, from the translator he paid less basically, and that in between money he pocketed basically. So the translators were paid like 500 rupees for a job, but that job to the account department she showed that there are 5 jobs are there. That's why he broke in the 16 word, 12 word. There are 5 jobs are there, right? And
Okay.
that way he charged from the department about the 5 jobs. So this is what he did basically. So that how he like essentially now like signature, now like he gave the fictitious signature, like he showed to the I paid them 2,500. So he gave to the account department a fictitious receipt, right, of the 2,500 which he paid to the, which he showed ki I paid to the translator. But a translator he paid only 500 rupees. So translator were not aware of this smartness of this middleman who was a conduit between the translator and the account department, and this how he bungled this entire money. Yes. So is it clear to you? Yes.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So you can understand how
Right.
smartly the frauds are done. My point of studying with all of you is that you are in a corporate world, most of you. So you should be equally vigilant. How like anything can be misused in the like in the system. So like interesting things are there. Yes, account amount may have written after the signature. No, no. He for the signature, Mr. Farooq, sir. He's for the signature. He gave a receipt of it 2,500 to the account department. I paid him money. He for the signature, right, to the account department. And to the translator, he paid 500 rupees. So there is no problem in that way case. This how he has done it basically, this man. Right. So fictitious, he would provide fictitious receipt is signed by the translator to the cashier. I'll just share the receipt. Just show you just I'm sharing where this issue was there. Look at I just share the screen. This what is was there. He provided the fictitious receipt signed by the translator to the cashier for collecting the cash. Thus, in this case, the head of a translation department pocketed 200 rupees and paid 500 only to the concerned translator. So, he was giving a fictitious receipt of a 2,500 issued by the translator, which was under four signature to the accounts and claiming 2,500. Right. So one job is split into the five job basically, right? And he charged by that way. Look at the smartness. None of us can think in that way, right? And that way he earned the money. So I hope it is clear to each one of you this issue, right? So or any question you can interject. So but this, yes, yes, please, sir, please, my dear friend, please.
Sir, yeah, I think here these translators got duped. The company has received at higher rate because their revenue is more on
Yeah.
account of translation.
See the
The translators were supposed to get more, but they got less. He clubbed.
See, if you look at it, translator got his due. See, for a translator, 100 words was their job, but and he did the 100-word job and he translated, got the 500 rupees. But to the account department, he showed that there are five jobs are there, not one
Right,
job.
sir.
So
Right.
if you see essentially translator got his dues, like but he fictitiously overcharged the account department. So translator now like overcharge the department by breaking a job by showing fictitiously that there are five jobs are there instead of one job. So
And it was
what?
recovered from the clients also.
Yes,
The
yes, yes,
amounts.
yes.
So the company has not suffered anything. There was no loss to the
Yeah,
company.
company has
It
not
was
suffered. You
lost
are
to the
right.
translators.
No, lost to the but lost to the, you can say, to the third party basically, right? Lost to
Translators.
them, translators. Yeah,
Because
it
they
is lost
did
to.
five jobs. For doing five jobs, they were supposed to receive 2,500 rupees. But they received 500 rupees because he clubbed five jobs into one, made it within 100 words, and paid them 500 rupees.
Yes, yes, you're right. Yes, you're right. He clubbed that way, and so to show them is a one job, right? And he paid them, but actually, may like he essentially so dude, yes, you're right. So they were duped basically, like in this case. So the company, so there was a like a loss to the essentially the translator essentially in that case. Yes, you're right. And then they are basically lost the money. And this, yes, you're right. Absolutely. Yes, yes, yes. So
Sir, one more point.
yes,
Excuse me, sir. One more point. Sir, if
yeah,
their company is paying more amount, like 2,500, the company's turnover also will increase, no? Just they are paid and the job is being done. And is it not that
That
way,
it
sir?
it is increased. It has increased. Actually, it has increased.
There
See
is an
the
increase. It has gone up basically. Yeah.
Yeah,
uh,
when
uh,
it has gone up, the taxes paid also will be more, right, by the company. So there is a loss on the part of the company also.
Hmm.
taxes.
Yeah.
No, expenses will be booked in the same year. Na? He has booked revenue 2,500 and he has charged 2,500. Out of it, 2,000 rupees he has pocketed, just duping these translators.
Yeah. So you are right. He pocketed the money. He charged 2,500. Company also booked 2,500, but to the translator he paid 500 rupees. So
Hmm.
2,000 he's pocketed. So company revenue and the expenditure is basically same. There's no problem
Same.
in that way. Yes. So the money which has gone to the student, gone to the translator, he clubbed the job basically, right, to show to them.
Hmm.
And the translator was the
Sir, that
loser.
clubbing was the cost reduction activity of the company. So company should have got the benefit of a clubbing activity. Instead
Yeah,
of
yeah,
they suffered the 2000
yeah.
loss.
You can always
That's
interpret
right.
that way also. Yeah, that is a very interesting observation. Yes. Yeah, there's multiple ways to look basically. But the point ki how this one man smartly basically did this activity, and he now like duped the everybody like over here, and how he pocketed the money. That is something very, very interesting tactics he adopted. Yeah, I think. Yeah. GSK were a policy to pay only through the bank account. Yes, you are right. It's you control measure. You can suggest. You are right. That is also very, very right. Yeah, I think. Yeah. Yeah, of course, there were many weaknesses were there. Please mute. I think kindly anybody, please, my dear friend, please help us. Yes, thank you so much for your cooperation. Yeah. So, like as I told you, there are multiple issues were there. Control measures were not there, and their records were not there, and the reconciliation was not there. So I think there are multiple issues were there. So right, I think our friend GSK Vermaji, that if they have used bank account, probably there's a one way to court, and maybe payment directly to the translator would have helped also, right? Not through the conduit basically. That would have been the better way, I think. So it would have avoid like such kind of a hanky panky thing. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, I
Sir,
think.
and moreover, the cash transaction is lesser than 10,000. So they may not think of transferring through bank. If it is
Yes, I
more
think
than 10,000,
yes.
they would have gone for transferring through
Yeah.
bank. So
So we
this
have
may
another
also be
wonderful
one reason.
observation. Yes, I think very interesting observation by our madam friend. I think you're right, ma'am. Absolutely. That's why maybe I think they have not think of a bank transactions, and maybe the cash. But normally now in good companies, I think mostly the even small amount cash is a preferred way, basically, right? I think that is a normal approach. Even all the company have, whether the amount is small or big, the cash payment is normally avoided basically because. But I think yeah, you have a very valid point. I think that is very well taken. That maybe they have not taken that into the account, and they because of 10,000 less than payment they say cash is allowed, let us not bother about it. But I think that was the can be the one. Yes, you are right, absolutely. Yes. So good, I think very wonderful participation for each one of you. You all contribute well, I think so. Yes, anybody, any other observation? Otherwise then we can just call off the session, I think. But if any other observation, anything you have. But very good participant. I hope you enjoyed this case study. It was something very, very interesting. And I'll share in the group also just now after this session, I think. So please take care. Yeah. Okay. So, okay. Thank you very, very much, I think. So we can just close the session, and we'll meet again
Thank
tomorrow.
you.
Thank you very much to each one of you. So it was so wonderful, I think, to be interacting with.
Thank you,
Right?
sir.
Yeah. So thank you very much. Good night. Please take care of yourself and your family, I think. And let us meet
Thank you,
tomorrow
sir.
once
Good
again. Yeah.
night.
Thank you very much. Good night, I think. Thank you very much. We'll meet tomorrow once again. Yeah.
Right.
Okay.